Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we are going to be taking a look at Unit 3, Lesson 22, Collisions. And again, everything that we are doing in this unit is leading to us programming our computer game as our final project. So far, we have been able to create simple sprite interactions using sprite is touching. Okay, so if you recall, we had the sprite is touching block that we used, I want to say, back in Lesson 19. We've reset a coin to different locations after a character touches it, and it is time to start making the sprites have more complex interactions. Run the program and observe the interactions between the two sprites. Discuss with a neighbor using only the commands that you already know how to create this interaction. Okay, so if I run the program, I see the giraffe moving across the screen. And when he touches the monkey GIF, they both start moving. It's not just a simple reset. They both had a change. Again, so I definitely think that the sprite is touching is being used. And then there's two different velocities because obviously the monkey starts moving, or maybe it's the X location. I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, so this is just for you guys to look at and observe and try to think about what is being used in terms of the code to make this interaction happen. When you are all set, make sure you go ahead and hit finish and continue. I'm going to go ahead and reset this. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, here is a similar program. However, it doesn't work yet. So do this. Use your plan to program the giraffe to push the monkey off the screen. So let's see what happens. First, if I run the program, here comes the giraffe. And then the giraffe just kind of keeps moving, but the monkey doesn't move at all. So I want when the giraffe to touch the monkey, that then everything moves off the screen. Because what we're trying to learn here is how to do complex sprite interactions. So when we are programming our game, we can get different things to interact with each other within the context of the video game that we are going to be programming. All right, so how do we do this? First thing that you are going to need is a conditional. So your conditional is in the control box of your toolbox. Go ahead and grab a conditional, bring it in. The condition that I'm going to set is the is touching. If you recall, I want to say that is in the sprite box, which is pink. So if, and again, the is touching, if my giraffe, make sure you change the name of your sprite, is touching the monkey, then what do I want to have happen? Previously, once it touched, the monkey started moving in the same direction as the giraffe did. So what I want to do is I want to set the velocity for the monkey equal to the velocity of the giraffe. In order to do that, I'm going to pull the velocity sprite in. I'm going to change this to monkey. And I am going to make it the same as the giraffe velocity, which I can find on line 4 of my code, which is a velocity of 1. So I'm going to match that. Hopefully this works. And if not, we'll fix it. Because remember, getting bugs is just part of programming. So here comes my little giraffe. Boop. And when he touches the monkey takes off with the giraffe. So that's cool. All right, so it appears to work. So now that that is working, I am going to go ahead and hit finish and continue. And I am going to move on to my next bubble. start this over. Okay, so it says write your own sprite interaction. Now the elephant should push the hippo off the screen. Notice that the elephant moves at a random y velocity every time the program runs. Run the program, see how it works using the patterns from the last level. Write code that makes the elephant push the hippo off the screen. Again, the elephant comes up. We want the elephant to push the hippo off the screen. That is an interaction. Before I have any kind of interaction, I must create a conditional. You have to say, if this condition exists, then this is going to be the change that I want in the program. So create your conditional. If the sprite is touching, and again, I want my elephant, so I'm going to change the name, is touching my target, and in this case, my target is the hippo. Help if I spelled it right. HIPPO. Then what do I want to have happen? Then I want my velocity y of the hippo to equal the velocity y of the elephant. Now, why am I doing it this way? The reason I am doing it this way is because, again, the elephant's velocity is random. I have no idea if it's going to be -1, -2, -3, negative whatever. It could be any random number. If I want the hippo to match the elephant, that's exactly what I need to tell my program. Because, again, computers are kind of stupid. They only do what you tell them to do. All right. So again, my conditional, if the elephant is touching the hippo, then I want to match my hippo's y velocity to my elephant's y velocity. Inside my conditional, inside my draw function. Here we go. Hopefully it'll work. And shazam, there it is. Again, the key to making video games in terms of what we're looking at today, which is sprite interactions, you need to think of your conditionals. What conditions have to exist in order for the interaction you want? And what interaction do you want? Right? Like we've all played the video games where like you walk into something and you can't get around it, or maybe you can't jump over something. But we've also played video games where you can jump up on something and then like keep going or whatever. You have to think of how your sprites interact with each other within the context of your game. But this bubble is complete for right now, so we're going to go ahead and hit finish. And we are going to continue. Again, I have to reset this. Okay, so displace. This type of sprite interaction is so common that there is an actual block for it. Someone tried to use a sprite displace block to make the elephant push the hippo, but there is a bug. Find the line of code where the sprite displace block is being used and fix the error. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit run. Okay, so what I see is I see the hippo pushing the elephant. But remember, we want the elephant to push the hippo. So let's take a look at line 18 of the code. It's saying the hippo is going to displace the elephant. That means the hippo pushes the elephant. And that's not what we want to have happen. We're going to have to flip-flop these conditions. So notice now all of that conditional that I created before, I can simply fix this with one line of code. Elephant displaces hippo. Run. Boop. All right, and there it is. Again, this single line of code is going to help us simplify our sprite interactions. It is the pushing one. So this tells me the elephant will push the hippo. All right. Issues or questions? All right. Last bubble. And then you will have time to work. Okay. 3 new types of sprite interactions have been added: sprite collide, sprite bounce, and sprite bounce off. How do you think they will affect the sprite? So for this bubble, what we want to do is we are literally just going to be playing with each one of our new ones, bounce, bounce off, and display collide, to see how they work with each other. So right now I have, if I run the program, the parrot, the red sprite, displaces or pushes the penguin. Awesome. So what happens if I do a bounce? Let's pull that out. Pull this in. Let's see. It was parrot bounce penguin. So if my parrot bounce penguin, let's see how the program runs. Awesome. So this is, if the bounce then is an ability for them to hit each other and then bounce off of each other. Cool. So let's try the next one, bounce off. Let's see how that is different. If I do parrot penguin, and now we're using bounce off. So displace causes them to, the target to push the, the object to push the target. Bounce off means that they're going to bounce, bounce means they're going to bounce off each other. Bounce off, the parrot and the penguin are hitting, and then notice what happened. The penguin kept moving and the parrot bounced off him. So now they're both moving the same direction. And again, how you choose to use this in a side of a program would be on you. And then we have collide. Let's see how that works. Parrot, penguin. So collide, they hit each other and then they both move off in the same direction. Awesome. All right, so that kind of gives you an idea of all of these sprite interactions that are a little more complex. But we have, again, remember how we have stuff under the hood. These have a lot of that other stuff under the hood, so you don't have to do all these complex programming every single time you want to have a sprite interaction, because that would make your code for your game just crazy stupid long. But once you are done, the last one you should have in here is your parrot collide. Go ahead and hit finish and continue. So for today's classwork, ladies and gentlemen, we have, for bubble number 6, we have bubbles A, B, C, and D. And again, each one of these will be required for you to complete. Some of them you're just debugging. Some of them you have to program entirely. For number 7, waiting to get there, you need to basically make the program match what you see up here in the example. And those are going to all be slightly different sprite interactions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if there's any issues or questions, please ask. but you do have the remainder of the class period to work on bubbles 6 and 7 for lesson 22. I'm going to stop my screen